I'm very disappointed, but I ain't mad. Let's get it. Welcome to the Cayman's Island podcast, where we talk all things San Francisco 49ers. I'm your host, David Cayman. And in today's show, we'll be breaking down the absolute beatdown that the San Francisco 49ers took at the hands of the Seattle Seahawks in Lumen Field, losing this game 41-6. And really, guys, I'm not really sure where to begin other than just to start by saying it was a complete beatdown from the very beginning of the game. A kickoff return, 7-0 game in the first 15 seconds. 49ers were dominated thoroughly in all phases of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. It did get so bad at one point, I was really just wanting the game to stop. And it got out of hand quick and snowballed from there. And look, nobody wants to end their season like that. But a loss is a loss. And you have to remember, in my estimations, losing by 100 or losing by 1 is still a loss. In fact, I'm the type of person that I would rather thoroughly get handled versus a nail-biting heartbreak on the last second of the game with a Hail Mary or some last-second field goal kick. That stuff is just tough. Stuff is tough to endure, especially being a 49ers fan, guys, and you know how we like to, in big games, sometimes allow teams to get back in it and break our heart toward the end there. So this one was a no-doubter completely. But we're going to get into it and break it all down, but just wanted to say hats off, man, to the Seahawks. They were, in all three phases, the better team. Man for man, the more talented team, maybe outside of a couple of spots here and there. But there's no excuses in this one. They might actually be the best team in the NFL right now. And this wasn't fluky or lucky. We got handled for sure. And I want to give a shout out, man. I got a message from a Seahawks fan, very respectful message after we had lost this contest, and wanted to congratulate us on a very respectable season. Said nothing to hang our hats about in this one, and I agree with that. Yeah, there was so much that you can look back at now and say, if now that the season is completely over, you can take everything as a whole and recognize with all the adversity, wow, man, what a season. The 49ers end the season with a 13-6 overall record, 12-5 in the regular season, and of course that huge playoff win, undermanned, in my opinion, facing really the most talented team top to bottom in the NFL, and to pull out a playoff win on the road in the Champs Stadium is a very big deal, very positive victory. And again, at the end of the day, the last game you play is the last game that's really going to be at top of mind. Definitely didn't want to go out like this, but the week prior I picked the Eagles because I felt like at some point in time, this team was going to hit a wall. They've given everything they've had. Essentially, guys, the 49ers are playing with practice squad players in multiple positions. These guys not getting a lot of time to practice, prep, play. Some of these guys are right off the street, had not even learned the playbook yet. And please understand, again, this is every team during this time of the season has to deal with this stuff. I know Seattle had a bunch of rest. The Niners had back-to-back weeks on short rest. But it's football, man. It is what it is. The Seahawks were better coached, better prepared, and really took it to our team. But just wanted to give a shout-out, man, at the nice message I received from the Seahawks fans. And I know that this is a rivalry, and there's a lot of junk that gets talked, but at the end of the day, the fact that the Niners were able to do what they were able to do, it really just blows my mind. When you think back to the fact when Brock went down, there was no George Kittle. Mac Jones coming in there and essentially saving the season. all the games that Kittle's missed. Now Kittle's is ruptured his Achilles, probably will miss most of the season next year. The Brandon Ayuk saga, that man's just MIA. Losing Nick Bosa for the season, losing Fred Warner for the season, no Mykel Williams. This team could have easily used that as an excuse and just folded up like a piece of paper, but they really put it all out there, laid it all on the line. I thought I've seen every game Kyle has coached as the coach of the 49ers, and I have to say, man, he grew a lot. He learned a lot. It was a bad game for him, and we're going to break down some of the things in the game. But bottom line is, Seahawks were the better team. In order for the Niners to have won this one, the 49ers would have had to play flawless football and have the Seahawks give us a couple of mistakes in order for us to pull this one out. But faithful, nothing to hang our heads down about, man. What a season. If you had provided me a manuscript showing just how many games all these players missed, I would have probably said we might have won 6 games max. And just super impressive, man, with the heart of this football team. And there were a lot of bright spots this season as well, okay? You got Upton Stout, Alfred Collins. I think those two guys are going to be stalwarts for this franchise moving forward. The offensive line, I feel like, outperformed expectations. I thought Spencer Burford did outstanding, man. In fact, I know he's going to be a free agent. I'd re-sign the man. I think he's proven himself, and I know that there was a lot of pressure, and Brock had to run over 400 total yards, and he was under duress. Some of those plays, Brock was holding on to it a little bit longer, trying to make some plays downfield because, let's face it, guys, Niners were down so much in this game right from the very onset. You look at Christian McCaffrey having over 400 touches and remaining healthy all season. That man is like an Iron Man. Super impressive. The thing for me that I look back on for this particular season is that, man, Brock Purdy was able to come back and reestablish himself on the biggest stages, has proven that the $53 million a year, he's worth every bit of that, guys. He was able to do far beyond what I thought we would be able to accomplish this year. And you think about just how much Ricky Pearsall being out. That's another former number 1 draft pick, man, that really wasn't available. He was MIA completely in this last game and had a big drop. I know it would have been a tough catch, man, but that's why you get drafted where you're drafted, to make those big catches in big moments like that. This isn't his rookie season. He's been in big games. He's experienced big games before, important games, so he's got to come up with that catch. And if I would just be honest with you, I'm a bit disappointed in Ricky, man. And again, it's health. It happens. I understand if the man isn't healthy. That PCL injury is no joke. If I had a PCL injury like that, I probably wouldn't walk right again. Just all around what Brock was able to put on, the performance, everything he's been able to do. And he's had a lot of Patrick Mahomes light, Diet Mahomes-esque moments this entire season. And you begin to think about what a rebuild or a retool would look like, where you can get that man a bit of help. You look at things on the offensive side of the ball, and what we're working with right now just is not it. And I really feel like the 49ers emptied the tank completely in that Eagles game, emotion-wise, physical-wise, laid it all on the line, and just could not overcome the insurmountable odds and team that Seattle is, man. They are a great team. That defense is historically good. But yeah, this one was a bit of a reality check for sure, seeing that the 49ers get handled the way they actually got handled in this one. So let's just look at it here. Let's talk about the game itself, okay? You look at the opening kickoff being returned to the house. Crowd was completely in it. The 49ers get the ball. They start driving down the field. And we get down there on fourth down. I really didn't like the play call on third down. We get down there 4th and 1. And personally, my thoughts are in a game of this magnitude with this type of crowd noise. For me, I quarterback sneak there regardless with a little push from Juice behind. And look, if they end up stopping that yard, you walk up to them guys and you shake their hand. You tell them good job. Fourth down comes. We audibled out in the shotgun. We hit Jawan Jennings on the short side of the field. It's a first down. Plays blown dead, and that's because Seattle was able to get a timeout. And he was able to get Will McDonald was able to get the timeout before the play was snapped. It's just so ridiculously loud. And for whatever reason, and this is where it was a bit confusing what Kyle did. We're going to call a fullback option to the short side of the field against a defense that feasts on getting sideline to sideline. It's like legit their specialty. And so that was a bit puzzling. And from that moment, it just seemed like the game slowly but surely snowballed from there. I know it looks bad, 41-6. It was a thumping. Seattle put it on us, but they were given multiple short fields, multiple turnovers. Brock had a pick in this one, which not super happy about Tunjas, man, just giving up on the ball there. He could have made I feel like at least a play on the ball to have batted that thing down. Brock scrambling around, trying to do some things, also had a fumble. And I realize that emotions are raw and everybody's going after Kyle right now. The fan base is super upset with Brock. And look, you're entitled to how you feel. Like I said, I'm disappointed as well. Definitely how I didn't want to end the season. This felt like a storybook season, and it ended short. But it ended short to a team that's flat out better. The very next drive, after once again going down in the game, Brock hit Tunjas over the middle. Tunjas fumbles. You blink, and the game's 17-0. And from then on out, it just got worse and worse with getting stopped on fourth down. We went for it on fourth down at one point, and Brock drops back to the throw and can't even move before he's sacked. Another turnover on downs. Just absolute domination up front by the Seattle Seahawks. And it really did just snowball from there. And that's when you can honestly feel like from that point on the game was over. And we tried and pressed. And whatever we did, Seattle was able to only rush 4, keep 2 high safeties, and just control the game, control the pace and the flow of the game. It was very similar to the first game. And this is what I anticipated happening when we played the Eagles, because they're a similar style defense. And I know everybody recalls the Week 18 game where I know it was 13-3. There were 2 missed field goals, but there was plenty of opportunities for Seattle to have blown that game open. This time, they pulled no punches, and they took advantage of every opportunity they had. I know folks are mad right now at Robert Saleh, feeling like the team wasn't prepared and that Robert Saleh was more focused on job interviews than getting the defense ready. This is a very similar game to what happened the first time around. It's just this time Seattle did not let off the gas. They weren't playing, and then they finished, okay? A couple other things that happened in the game that's just inexcusable, and I'm probably, if there was any person I'm disappointed at more, man, it's the coaching. It's Kyle Shanahan and it's Robert Saleh. It's almost like we learned nothing from the Week 18 game. We could not set an edge in this one again. And there was a sequence of events here where we finally get some pressure. Brace yourself for this one. We finally get some pressure. Sack Sam Darnold. Okay, it's 2nd and 20. And I was watching this game with my son, and I was joking with him, just simply saying, watch us turn around here and give up a first down on the very next play. Reminiscent to how we allowed 19 yards on a 3rd and 17 in Week 18. And sure enough, the very next play, first down, Kyle Shanahan pulls out Ronaldo Green, gets in his grill on the sidelines. Few plays later, Jackson Smith and Jigba back at the end zone where Luter's trying to cover him. Siegel got caught in no man's land. You got to backpedal on that one, man. You can't just be caught in no man's land right there. And from that point in the game, it really started to feel like, man, I just want to go ahead and get this one over with. You know, what's sad is the fact that Jackson Smith and Njigba, who is JSN, is a terrific wide receiver, didn't have to do anything at all in this game. Kenneth Walker was able to run all over us. We could not set an edge. And it's just disappointing. I thought we were going to show a better showing there in all phases of the game. I really felt like this one could be close. And if we could keep it close, the Niners could pull this one out in the end. It just was not at all in the cards in this one. Few bright spots, if any, in the game. Eddie Pinheiro, once again, big-time field goal kicks. The moment wasn't big for him, too big for him. San Francisco, I know this is going to sound crazy, but John, Kyle, you've got to prioritize not letting Eddie get out that building. You have to make sure that you sign this man to a multi-year deal. This guy's the real deal as far as a kicker, and we're going to need him for next season. Got to make sure we prioritize that. I felt like Brock Purdy made some special throws in this one. There was a nice feathered over a defender's hand right into Tonjes in the middle of the field. That was just a thing of beauty. There were a few times where Brock was able to roll out and just off one foot be able to throw a dart straight to a receiver. But unfortunately, there was a few times that for whatever reason, we just couldn't come up with those catches in this one. There were once again a few of those little Mahomes-light flashes that Brock had in this one. But yeah, the turnovers were real bad. The turnovers were real bad in this game, and they're just too good of a defense, too much of a ball-controlling offense to sit there and give the Seahawks that short of a field and just give them the ball like that. I thought Jordan James, when he got his opportunity, there was a sequence of events in the fourth where Christian McCaffrey appeared to get a shoulder stinger, and here comes Jordan James. First NFL snap of his career is in a playoff game. I thought he was quick. I thought he looked explosive. It breaks my heart that Kyle, for whatever reason, refuses to use these young guys. Like, I don't know if these guys are busts or Kyle has a certain way of doing things where he feels like they just don't know the system yet. I'm not sure. He looked quick. He looked explosive. That was another bright spot in this one. Like I said, it's an unfortunate way to go out. I'm going to miss watching my Niners. However, it's going to be an immensely busy offseason. And look, it's not doom and gloom. We were able to accomplish so much this year with all the odds stacked against us. We have a franchise quarterback, and there's not going to be any more of that noise, guys. With what Brock was able to do, with what he was working with, Brock is the guy. That controversy stuff can go out the door. We got Fred Warner coming back, Nick Bosa, Mykel Williams. Trent Williams has already said he's coming back. Stout and Collins were promising. We got Jacob Cowing. We've got Jordan Watkins. We've got Jordan James. Hopefully these guys can begin contributing. Big priorities to look forward to. And there's a lot coming up in this offseason. You got the combine in late February. You have free agency in early March, the NFL draft in late April. There's going to be a lot of news, a lot of highlights, a lot of things that we're going to cover on the Cayman's Island podcast all off season. And I'm excited and looking forward to it, as I'm very interested to see if I'm the front office and I see this showing and I see this heart with all the odds stacked up against us. Man, what would it look like if you got Brock Purdy some help? What would that look like? There was no Ricky Pearsall, no Brandon Ayuk. Jawan Jennings is essentially meant to be our third guy. no George Kittle. We're going to have several draft picks, a bunch of fourth rounders for compensatory picks. Hopefully we can inject some youth into this football team. And it's going to be a super fun offseason. The 49ers are projected anywhere from like 35 to 50 million in cap space. Maybe they can recoup some funds from Brandon Ayuk's deal, put that toward some other players, some depth. If we did this with a decimated roster, imagine what happens when Brock is there supported. Because I sum up this game like this, and I know that the defense gave up a lot of points. But in a world where the defense played lights out and they didn't even allow a touchdown, we still would have lost this game 7-6. We were only able to muster against this defense 6 points. That's 9 total points in 2 games. 2 games where we're unable to get in the end zone. Okay? We've got some very key pieces coming back on defense. I am confident that we will add a piece or two, maybe even in free agency. I don't know about the whole going after Mason Crosby thing. I think that's too many first-round picks, and we have too much that we need to give up 2 first-rounders and some change for Crosby. It's going to be a fun offseason. I can't wait to get into it. I can't wait to cover it. It's going to be some exciting times, guys. Don't hang your head, man. The Niners accomplished so much. We're going to be okay. This season mattered. I appreciate the ride. Thanks so much for watching the show today, guys. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think was so special about this season, man. Was it the team's resilience? Was it the fact that we were able to defeat the reigning Super Bowl champs in their own home before we wrapped this season up and got beat pretty bad here? As always, guys, if you liked the show today, please remember to like and subscribe. It helps so much for the channel. As always, guys, take care. Be blessed. Go Niners.